Now the code is fixed and it's now showing the model. So as a demo, if I click this button, the model now shows because of this ngIf condition. I will explain it to you why, what's the purpose of this variable and why is it declared false in here at first. As a start, this variable show model is still false as a default, so it's not going to show anything inside of the HTML because it's declared in here that this contents will be displayed if and only if this variable show model is equals to true. Because do you remember the punctuation mark earlier? This means that it's not true. It's not show model. This variable should be false in order for this HTML code to display. So if we save that, it's going to show. Because now in the ngIf statement, it will show this HTML code with a false value of our variable, which is equivalent to our default or the default value that we set for this variable. But that's not how it's supposed to be. We'll remove this, and then understanding this code is quite tricky if you're new to it, but it's not that hard if you understand it. This first line of code, which is the button click is equals to show model is equals to true. So when we click this button, the variable show model will be equivalent to true. Again, the variable show model, which is declared here in our TypeScript file, is still equals to false. But if we click this button, it's now going to be equivalent to true, wherein that button is called the open model. If we click this button, the model shows up. The ngIf directive in here is equal to the show model value. So this ngIf requires a true value given that we don't have the punctuation mark. So it must be equivalent in the true value. Now, if we change this, like earlier I showed you, if it's punctuation mark, this ngIf will be satisfied if the value for this variable is false. So if I save it, it's gonna show the model, but it's not really how it's supposed to be. Because as general, the value for the variables must be true in order for the button to work, because if we do this, we don't need to click this button anymore and this contents will not be closed. See, it's not closing even if I click it a lot of times. Now removing this punctuation mark, and then we save it, it's gonna go back to what it's supposed to be. Then we copy this. No, not copy. We need to create a new div. Let's say model overlay false. It's an example for the false button. Then we copy this. Maybe the contents, because I think the CSS will detect this modal and then it will apply it to. Then here, copy that, paste here. Oh, it's not detecting the model. Okay, that's good because, okay, that's good. Then if we close this, it's not gonna be closed because the value is still false. Then we add the ngIf statement here, show model. Then we add the punctuation mark so that it should be false. And when we click this, it disappears here because the variable show model is now equivalent to true. But if we close this, show model again is equivalent to false. So that's why this HTML code shows up. Again, after clicking this button, the variable show model is equivalent to true. After clicking this close button, because we declared in here the button click will be equivalent to false after clicking this button. So if we click this, the value for the show model is now false.